Let's talk about how you can create a template like this on any existing archive page like this. So on the left here, we have a custom taxonomy inside of a custom post type. On the right, this is a custom post type. It's not a custom taxonomy. One of the easy ways you can tell that from the front end is essentially this has edit category. This one does not have any sort of edit. However, we can do the exact same process on either, whether it is a custom taxonomy, a custom post type, or a lot of other options like a regular category or that. So let's talk about how we can set that up. Here on the left, there's already a custom template. So if I were to click on edit site, it would take me directly into this custom template. So recommendation section, chocolate issue buying guide, and it's got all of this content that's been filled out the way I want. If I edit this, I can see that there's this like default template, and then I have all of my content in this middle group here. If I click edit site on downloads, it takes me to the index. If I were to make changes here, it would impact the entire site. So instead of other categories that don't have custom templates saying, beef category and then having all of the articles underneath it, then it's going to specifically, like, all the pages would just reflect my builder content. So I definitely don't want to edit this index. Instead, inside of templates, I just want to create a new template. And then I'm going to make a template for my downloads. So if you weren't paying attention earlier, the right-hand side had the archive for the downloads. Very conveniently, there is an option right here for archive download. There's a bunch of other options. And then some of these options, like if I went into recommendations section, it'll actually give me more options. But we're going to start with archive download. And so it creates that template for me. I'm going to choose a starting point, which pulls in my header and footer, and then just like the default content in the group. So if I were to save this, it actually would look exactly the same as it did before. So I'm going to save this archive download. And then over here, let's go back and we'll close out this page and essentially just go back to downloads. So download. And then now it looks exactly the same. And even if I know we have some caching on this site, even if I do this to make sure that I'm viewing the latest version, it looks exactly the same. So now I have this template that I have to maintain. It doesn't have any different changes in it, but actually I want it to look totally different. I want to just delete this default content. So I can delete sections that are purple, but if I make changes to them, it will save that change on all of my templates, anywhere this purple section is used. So I'm going to delete these blocks. It tells me, you don't have a query. It's not going to show anything useful anymore. I said, okay, go ahead and delete that. And then now inside of the same group, which I just keep this group to have all of my content in and keeps everything really organized. I don't even remember if this has a class to it. It does. It has this main element, which is needed for semantic HTML. So I do want to keep this group. I also just love that it keeps everything organized. So inside of here, I want a header block, and I'm basically just going to use these blocks that we created. Depending on which site you're looking at, you might have blocks that are icons with a yellow background. They might exist inside of patterns for you. What we're looking at right now is going to be adding some sort of heading. And this one doesn't have previews. So I'm going to stick with something simple. I think I want to do this. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do a heading at all because I want it to look really similar to the section that we had on the shop, on the recommended products. And I don't remember which one I did for that. Featured posts, group with shadow. I want to say that it's maybe like this, but it only had a border. Maybe I didn't save it because it wasn't used in many places. We're going to go with this one. Okay, it's definitely not that. Let me just insert a few things and see if I find one I like. Honestly, what you could do at this point, I'm about to just use this plain one that I was going to start with and then decided not to go with, is if you already have a heading you like somewhere else, you can change it to or sorry, you could copy it from that template into this one. The reason I wanted to show us using a heading from a different block that is not set to be a header is because I just wanted to show that for the H2, you would change that to be an H1 because we do need one H1 on the page. However, I'm really just making things difficult. So I'm going to go back to the one I liked at the beginning, which is just this like simple. I'm deleting all of these extra ones. I'm keeping the one I like. I'm going to move it inside of this group. So I noticed that it had like dashed borders and an empty group still. I use this list view all the time to keep things organized in here. And I noticed I definitely deleted the wrong content. Okay, let's try this one more time. Header category. This is what I want to use. And then I need to fix this margin top. I want that gap in here. It's going to pull in this archive title automatically. If I don't like that, then I can just add my own that says downloadable resources. Change this to a heading, H1, center it, and then I'll delete this automated archive title. I'm going to leave out a description, but I do want to jump to like most popular guides, and let's just do those for now. So I deleted the other two buttons. Underneath here, I'm going to add some sections. So I'm going to add a grid. I think I call those featured. Let's do featured posts. And then I'm going to duplicate this. So I just did Command-Shift-D to duplicate. No, sorry. Let's delete that one, and I'll add a new one that is with background. Here we go. And then, yeah, I will duplicate this and put it on the bottom just so it looks good with this here. Okie dokie. So really, I've already showed you how you can create this template. Honestly, if I save this, it's not going to look good on this download archive. We're still going to fix this because it's not going to show the right post types. But essentially, I've created a landing page now where there used to be just a query loop. So this is really all you need. I do want to show you how you can keep using these blocks to build this out, and I will keep going through that. But if you were just looking on how to create a template, that piece has been resolved. So let me show you, continue kind of showing here what we would do for these sections. They're pulling in posts. I want them to pull in downloads. So right now they're just going to pull in the latest ones, but that's a start for me. Downloads. And then here we'll also do post type downloads. For this query loop, I'm going to, I think I'm just going to do like most recent, or let's do newest downloads. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Sorry, this whole button area. This one, we're going to do guides. And then I'm going to change this to pull from the category guide, which I think there's just one. Looks like we've got two. Actually, I wonder if I remember any of the others. Okay, I don't know it. So we'll just use guides for now. And then this first one, I want this to be most popular. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of the button for the moment. We can add those in later if we want. And then for this one, I'm going to manually select posts. So I think I want that to be, I should know which ones these are supposed to be. Customization. And then maybe I'll just do all of these baking ones for the moment until I look up which ones these are supposed to be. So this would be 3 different ways that you can show content here. So basically we've got most popular where we did selective posts. We did guides where we're pulling the latest posts from a category. And then we've got newest, which is just pulling all of them in. There's a lot more I could do here to show additional content, but I am not going to yet. I'm just going to have this be the demo and then make some edits later. So last thing I want to show is these buttons. So when they're being inserted into a new page type that is not templated, they basically don't have any link that they start with. So I'm going to add popular and guides. And then to actually have them be able to jump somewhere on the site, we need to tell it where on the site to jump. So we could have linked it to this header, but after a lot of testing, I think the easiest thing to do is have this top group, and we can do popular, which it wouldn't really make sense to jump immediately down, but you know, for the purpose of this demo, we will, and then guides. And the reason I like that is because when those are top level, I can see where they're able to jump to. So when I'm editing this, I can see, oh, this is, oops, this actually needs to go to hashtag popular, and same with guides. And then I can see, oh, this is where popular would jump. This is where guides would jump. So it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes we do actually need to jump inside of the group, but this is really nice when we can manage it. And then now if I save that, it's asking if I want to save this template. If I were to edit any of these purple sections, they would also appear on that list. I could uncheck them, for example. And then we're going to do this downloads, handle the heat, download. And then we have to clear the cache. And now you can see what we've kind of got going on here. So we're going to still make changes to this section. Obviously not have like white on white here. And I need to update most popular. We probably won't do any of them by just category like this because we want everything to be curated. So I suspect we'll have specific sections, but then they will all be done by selective post where we can order them the way we want to. And then we may also, if we weren't to display all of the sections, what am I saying? All the sections. Let's say that there were 6 guides and I didn't want to show them all on this page, then I would add the button that links them off to the guide category. So I think it's download section type. I think it's download type guides. Let me try singular. Nope, sorry, can't help you here. But I did want to show you that it essentially, if you go to one of the categories for this post type, it would look just like this because we have not created a custom template for it yet.